ghost, an elite soldier. Trained to strike my enemies before they know I exist. Death stalks me, but I survive. Overcoming any obstacle. Never surrendering.
Anthony Perryman was an army brat who was born in Boston and is better known to us as Nomad. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the army, earned a bachelor's degree, and later became an officer. By his mid-20s, Nomad was recruited by the Elite Special Operations Force of the United States Army, also known as Delta Force. After several missions with Task Force 88, he joined the Ghosts and rose through the ranks to become a team leader during a difficult mission in Eastern Europe. In 2017, Nomad became a Ghost lead after a mission went wrong in Ukraine and his team leader was injured. His first full mission in his leadership role was a hostage rescue operation in the Amazon jungle at the border between Brazil, Venezuela, and Colombia. This was also the first mission for the newly formed team of Ghosts, composed of Nomad, Weaver, Holt, and Midas. 2 years later, the team was sent to Bolivia as an undercover force to stop the Santa Blanca Cartel from turning Bolivia into a narco-state. After the completion of the mission in 2019 and several other operations, Nomad is now looking to retire and has accepted one last mission on a remote Pacific island. Nomad always remains completely calm, even when placed under considerable pressure. He is the epitome of the strong and silent soldier stereotype, able to hold back any kind of emotions, and able to remain completely objective in any circumstances. Past teammates would joke about checking his pulse during freefall jumps to make sure he was still alive. He always gets antsy when on rest and recuperation, and has trouble adjusting to the mundane day-to-day life when not deployed. Of course, this has an effect on his personal relationships outside of the military. He's been married and divorced twice, with a teenage son from his first wife. He struggles to maintain a good relationship with his son, who blames him for never having been around when he was growing up. Nomad is looking to retire to make up for lost time with his son, who is about to become a father himself. He dislikes the fact that he has to keep his true occupation in the military a secret from his family, especially his son, but respects and holds its secrecy without falter. In the beginning, when he first became a Ghost leader, he often had a hard time finding the right balance between being a mission-driven leader and a member of the team. Now on his last mission, he has no problem putting personal aspects aside and executing the objective he's been assigned with. At times, Nomad is something of an introvert and is considered not really the talkative type by others. Like most Spec Ops units, Ghosts are less formal than conventional units, as are the relationships between officers and their men. And because of the secret nature of their work, the members of the Ghost team almost always only exclusively socialize with each other. Prior to Operation Kingslayer, Nomad's unit was caught up in the Mexican Rebellion. After being recruited into the Ghosts, he was assigned to a squad with Holt, Midas, and Weaver. During a mission in Donetsk, Holt and Midas were injured, and Nomad was put in charge of the new squad, which highly displeased him due to it not being Ghost protocol. Their mission was to retrieve and/or destroy a downed UAV in South America and rescue some archaeologists and a research team from local militants who were keeping them hostage. It was around this time that Nomad witnessed surveillance footage of El Sueño executing the family of a Bolivian police officer. Even today, he states this footage still haunts him, and he vowed to do everything within his power to stop the cartel leader. July 2019, the US Embassy at La Paz was bombed by the Santa Blanca drug cartel, leaving 2 Marine guards injured and a DEA agent kidnapped. The motive was to capture the undercover agent, who was later confirmed by the Ghosts to have been tortured and killed by El Sueño. Nomad's team was covertly deployed into Bolivia, where they met up with Bowman. It was while in Bolivia that he first collaborated with Cole D. Walker. They became friends, and the two later worked very closely. The Santa Blanca Cartel has turned Bolivia into a narco-state and have crippled the government. The Bolivian government formed an anti-narco operations unit called Unidad to counter the rising cartel. But the fighting was ending with more Unidad casualties than cartel, forcing the president of Bolivia to make peace with the Santa Blanca. The team continues to dismantle the cartel systematically, eventually attracting the attention of El Sueño himself. The drug lord reaches out to the ghosts and arranges a meeting, though he is nowhere to be found when the team arrives. He offers the ghosts positions within his organization, but they refuse. The ghosts continue to take down the leadership of the cartel, before eventually meeting up with El Sueño himself and arresting him. Nomad's team would be called back into Bolivia by Karen Bowman to extract a Skeltec engineer who's been arrested by Unidad. He has knowledge of sensitive American industrial secrets and must be protected. Nomad unexpectedly comes across Major Cole D. Walker, a fellow ghost team leader who was there with his own agenda. He found out that the engineer was the one who designed the Skeltec drones for Unidad. After Unidad modified and weaponized them, they had 2 of Walker's teammates killed. Walker doesn't just blame the engineer, but also Bowman for allowing it to happen. After extracting the engineer to a safe house, Nomad intercepted a call from Bowman to the Skeltec engineer. Walker had placed a tracker on the engineer, and he and Nomad found out that he sold out Bowman to the Unidad so that he can get passports to leave Bolivia. Walker and Nomad catch up to the engineer, and Walker executes him. They then find Bowman tied up and extracted to a nearby rally point. During the argument between Bowman and Walker, Nomad convinces Walker to see reason, knowing that he trusts Nomad. Walker lets Bowman live, but warns her that he'll be coming to collect on the debt if she steps out of place again. While glad it didn't turn messy, Nomad understands that the loss Walker has been through and doesn't blame him for his anger. In February 2022, Nomad and Walker, along with several ghosts, were deployed in the Middle East, running counter-terrorism operations. Late in the deployment, Walker committed a morally questionable and illegal act. He executed an officer who had put them all in danger. This officer was also the son of a US senator. Nomad refused to testify against him, and in turn, Walker left the ghosts. In 2025, Auroa, the new home base of Skell Technology, was mysteriously cut off from the world after a US cargo ship mysteriously sunk near the archipelago. With allegations towards the company, the US government decides to send in the ghosts. CIA Deputy Director Peter Miles sent in Nomad, now promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, and the leader of 32 ghosts, his team along with 3 other teams. Their mission is to investigate the island and, if possible, extract Jace Skell. Nomad and his team, along with the other teams aboard the USS Wasp, were flown to the island, but on their way are taken out by a drone swarm. Nomad, Holt, Vasily, Fixit, and Fury are the sole survivors. The rest of his team are either killed or MIA. He and the surviving ghosts are hunted down by former Ghost and Nomad's ex-brother-in-arms, Walker, along with other ghosts who have gone rogue with him, known as the Wolves. Nomad and the ghosts find shelter at Auroa, which is home to the homesteaders. Nomad manages to find another ghost, Josiah Hill. After that, Nomad finds Jace Skell. Shortly after, he is attacked by Walker and Hill, who has defected to Walker's side. Nomad manages to escape along with Skell. Skell then formulates a plan to take down the drone control program. Along the way, Nomad and the ghosts help out key employees of Skeltec, eliminate Sentinel commanders and Walker's lieutenants. Later on, Nomad manages to track down Walker and has him killed. He then deactivates the drone control program by uploading Skell's virus, taking down the drones protecting the island, and stopping Walker's plan of taking out the world leaders, which involved using a lethal killer drones, which were to be deployed by the missiles launched from a submarine. Nomad is an expert at making tough decisions and unleashing the full potential of his squad. He is a weapons specialist and uses his skills in psychological warfare to beat his enemies at their own game. He is an elite, world-class soldier, but as with all soldiers, there comes a time when they choose to hang up the gloves. Nomad's motivation is family, but before going down that path and retiring, he decides to run one last mission. However, what he didn't know was that this would be his most difficult operation yet, with the majority of the 32 ghosts under his command having died before they even set foot on the island. He has some unfinished business to sort before he can take on his next challenge, the readjusting into civilian life. There is a huge amount of story in this addition to the franchise, and I've really started to dig down into it. But before I can discuss any of that stuff, I really need to make sure I'm covering the basics. Before I go, I was checking through some of my settings on YouTube the other day, hoping that I'd find something that had maybe screwed up that could be the reason why I keep getting demonetized, and I stumbled across the membership section. I had no idea how many of you had joined the $5 paid subscription thingy. It seems strange I wouldn't get notified. Anyway, thank you very much to all of you. You're certainly helping me out a lot through a rough time where the majority of the time I seem to be completely blocked off from earning from the revenue, and Christmas, which makes it pretty demotivating, and difficult to justify the amount of time I put into these videos. If you have any ideas of what I could be providing in this membership section, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!